It began with a scream, not from Harry, not from Hogwarts, but from a house, cold, abandoned, and hiding a secret darker than any spell. A man lies dead. A snake slithers across the floor. And in the shadows, he is back. Not in full, not yet, but planning, plotting, waiting. This isn't just a school year, this is the year of betrayal, of blood, of fire. Welcome to the Goblet of Fire. Buckle in, because nothing in the wizarding world will ever be the same again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BookPodCastZone.
Welcome to BookPodCastZone. I'm Emma.
And I'm John. Today we're embarking on an epic deep dive into one of the most pivotal and I think dramatic books in the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling.
Oh, absolutely.
This is truly where the magic gets darker, when you say the stakes get higher and the wizarding world changes forever. Definitely. Our mission today is, well, to take you on a detailed chapter-by-chapter journey. We're drawing insights from the Goblet of Fire Unraveled, a chapter journey source material. We'll try and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, insight, helping you understand not just what happens, but why it matters, and how it connects to the broader themes and maybe even some historical context that Rowling so cleverly wove into her narrative.
Right. So if you're ready for, let's say, a shortcut to being truly well-informed about Harry's fourth year, complete with surprising facts and hopefully just enough humor to keep you hooked, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, let's unpack this epic tale, starting with a scene that immediately sets a chilling, irreversible tone. This book doesn't really ease you in, does it? Chapter 1, The Riddle House, it plunges us straight into this atmosphere of chilling foreboding. We're introduced to Little Hangleton, this quiet, almost mundane village, but it's dominated by this decaying, abandoned manor. It's not a place of obvious magic, more like cold, hard secrets and a very human kind of darkness.
You're absolutely right. Rowling deliberately throws us into this shadowy mystery right from the get-go. We see this sinister meeting happening inside those old walls, and it ends with, well, the discovery of a dead man, Frank Bryce, and that slithering snake, Nagini. And then there's the ominous presence of Voldemort, clearly back, planning, plotting.
Yeah.
It instantly sets this pulse-pounding, almost horror movie tone. It signals this isn't just another, lighthearted year at Hogwarts. The game has changed.
It's just a masterclass in building suspense, isn't it? How do you think she achieves that palpable sense of dread? It's almost all through atmosphere and suggestion, not really overt action.
Well, what's really remarkable is her use of what's implied rather than explicitly shown. It's all suggestion. She uses this really vivid descriptive language, words like creaking, whispers, the cold abandoned house itself, to make the setting almost a character in its own right. And this immediately introduces these core themes of hidden evil and unresolved historical conflicts. Voldemort's initial defeat wasn't a true end, just dormancy.
Right, like he was just waiting.
Exactly. And this dormant evil ripples back into the present, affecting even a seemingly mundane place like the Riddle House. It's a stark reminder that some wounds, if they're not fully dealt with, they can definitely reemerge and haunt the present.
And thinking about it historically, our source material notes this chapter, written around 2000, really echoes some of those 1990s feels of resurgent threats. If you think about the post-Cold War era here in the U.S., there was definitely a shift. We went from having a very clear-cut enemy, the Soviet Union, to dealing with more ambiguous, unpredictable danger.
Right. Things felt less certain.
Yeah, it was a period where concerns about, say, rogue states or the emergence of non-state actors, like Al-Qaeda was beginning to be known, really grew. It led to this sort of underlying anxiety that seemingly defeated enemies or old conflicts could resurface unexpectedly. So this idea of old wounds reopening, even in a quiet village like Little Hangleton, it really resonates with how societies grapple with historical conflicts bubbling back up.
And the way Rowling crafts that haunting prose and the eerie narration, it just emphasizes how crucial descriptive language is. It grips you, even without any visible spell casting happening yet. The house isn't just a backdrop. It feels alive with its dark history. It's a real testament to her skill in world building just through setting.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? Chapter 1 really challenges that idea of a clean victory, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It suggests that true evil rarely just disappears entirely. Instead, it merely waits, demanding constant vigilance, maybe. What stands out to you about how a setting can feel so inherently menacing just through description and suggestion without any ghosts jumping out? So as we wrap up our dive into this really chilling introduction, it's worth remembering pretty much every detail in Rowling's world seems laid out for a reason. And this first chapter, wow, it sets the stage for a year unlike any other Harry's faced.
Indeed. The seeds of danger and mystery are already firmly planted. It signals a much, much darker path ahead for Harry and, well, everyone.
Absolutely. And if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, please remember to like, subscribe, and maybe share it. We'll have more updates as we continue our journey through the Goblet of Fire. Okay, so from the external menace of the Riddle House, Chapter 2, The Scar, brings the danger right home, literally. It pulls us into Harry's most intimate space, his mind. We're right there with him, in his restless mind in the dead of night, as this sudden searing pain in his scar jolts him awake. It's so abrupt.
It is. And it's this truly chilling vision that just blurs dream and reality.
Yeah.
It leaves Harry shaken, questioning everything he thought he knew about his connection to Voldemort. It's an incredibly intimate portrayal of, well, psychological torment, immediately pulling you right into this fear.
It really does.
It's not just a physical pain. It feels like a psychic intrusion, a terrifying glimpse into something dark that he can't quite grasp yet.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how his scar acts as both this physical manifestation of his past trauma the night his parents died, but also as a conduit for this almost psychic intuition about Voldemort's return. It's not just a wound anymore, is it? It's like a warning system, intrinsically tied to his very existence. This chapter really emphasizes Harry's growing awareness, conscious or not, of this sinister force that's directly connected to him. It deepens the personal stakes massively.
You're right. It shows just how intertwined his fate is with Voldemort's right from the start of the book. And what's particularly insightful, as our source material points out, is how this focus on psychological scars really reflects some of the growing discussions in the 1990s about mental health, particularly around PTSD in young people. In the U.S., the 90s saw increasing public awareness and conversation around trauma in children and adolescents.
That's true.
You know, often in the context of things like school violence, unfortunately, or discussions with the long-term psychological impact of various forms of abuse. So this focus on Harry's internal struggle, it really resonated with these growing societal conversations about the unseen burdens that young people carry. It felt very timely.
And Rowling's evocative storytelling in this chapter, it isn't just descriptive, it's viscerally effective. She uses these short, sharp sentences and focuses on Harry's internal sensations, the searing pain, that feeling of suffocating. It makes his internal fear just leap off the page.
Really does.
It shows how effective narrative can be in making a character's internal struggle incredibly palpable and relatable, even if, you've never had a Dark Wizard's curse scar yourself.
So true. So for you listening, what does this chapter provoke? It brings up a really important question, I think. How do our past experiences, especially the traumatic ones, continue to shape our present? And maybe even offer us insights, however painful, into future challenges? How do we learn to distinguish between genuine intuition and just mere fear, especially when those lines feel so incredibly blurred, like they do for Harry here? That intense internal struggle, it really foreshadows the grander conflicts Harry's going to face, doesn't it? His scar is this constant, painful reminder of the war that's inevitably coming.
Absolutely. It's like a barometer for Voldemort's presence. And that subtle internal discomfort is about to be sharply contrasted with something completely different, something much more exciting, actually. A real beacon of hope. But before we get to that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, so from that internal turmoil, we shift dramatically to the, stifling reality of Harry's summer in Chapter 3, The Invitation. We find Harry still trapped in that suffocating Dursley household. It's such a stark, almost cruel contrast with the magical world he truly belongs to.
And the deprivation is palpable.
It really is. And then, this pivotal moment, a beacon of hope arrives. It's the thrilling invitation to the Quidditch World Cup, delivered in that chaotic Weasley fashion.
Yes, it's such a powerful narrative beat, isn't it? It just rips you away from the mundane cruelty of the Dursleys and pulls you towards the magnetic, vibrant, magical world. Rowling's vivid portrayal of this contrast, it truly ignites excitement for what's coming next. You feel Harry's relief and anticipation.
And this chapter, it powerfully highlights Harry's deep, deep yearning for belonging, for a sense of family, which the Dursleys so deliberately deny him. It's such a foundational human need, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Beyond that, it masterfully sets the stage for this huge global wizarding spectacle. It builds immense anticipation for the Quidditch World Cup. This isn't just another school match. It's a massive cultural event, a communal gathering on a scale Harry has never truly experienced before.
It's really interesting how this World Cup invitation mirrors those big global sporting events from the 1990s that really captured the public imagination. Thinking about the U.S., the 1994 FIFA World Cup hosted here was a huge deal. For many Americans, it was a significant exposure to a truly global sporting phenomenon.
I remember that.
Yeah, it brought diverse communities together and shared excitement and, national pride, much like Rowling's Quidditch event promises to bring together wizards from all over the world. It captures that same energy.
And Rowling's dynamic world building and lively narration here, they don't rely on grand magical displays yet to build that anticipation. Instead, she uses small, relatable details, like the simple, mundane act of receiving mail, and transforms it into something absolutely magical and exciting through the Weasleys' arrival.
That's a great point.
It shows how even just the promise of adventure can propel a narrative and expand the world's scope significantly.
So what does this mean for you? Listening, this chapter powerfully reminds us of that profound human need for community, for excitement, especially when we're faced with dreary or difficult circumstances. It challenges you to consider, how do you find your own invitations out of the mundane? What are those things that offer you a beacon of hope and belonging in your daily life? That contrast between the Dursley's sterile world and the chaotic magic of the Weasleys is just so crucial, isn't it? It really grounds Harry's desire for the magical world in a very relatable way. We all seek belonging, right?
Absolutely. It makes his yearning feel completely authentic. And where does he find that belonging? Well, in the most wonderfully chaotic yet loving of places imaginable. But first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates on our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, stepping out of the Dursleys' oppressive tidiness, Chapter 4, Back to the Burrow, feels like a warm, chaotic hug, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
The Weasley household just bursts with this kind of overwhelming warmth upon Harry's arrival. It immediately contrasts with the coldness and rigidity he's just left behind.
The Burrow is depicted as this incredible haven of laughter, love, and, well, charming clutter. It's bursting with personality, isn't it?
Totally.
It's where Harry truly finds the chosen family he's always craved. He experiences this immediate, comforting embrace that you can almost feel radiating from the pages. It's messy, it's loud, but it's undeniably home.
And this chapter, it feels like a profound celebration of chosen family over biological ties. It emphasizes the power of loyalty, unconditional love, and acceptance as the real bedrock of Harry's true home. The Burrow itself becomes this powerful symbol of comfort, authenticity, and a welcoming chaos that stands in sharp opposition to the rigid, sterile environment of Privet Drive. It's truly a character in itself.
Definitely. And the Weasleys' tight-knit dynamic, as our source notes, offers this powerful counterpoint to some of those 1990s concerns about social fragmentation in the U.S. It presents an idealized family structure, one that prioritizes togetherness and mutual support in what felt like a rapidly changing world.
Right.
During the 90s, there were rising concerns about the decline of traditional community structures, but you also had the enduring popularity of family sitcoms like, say, Family Matters or Full House. They presented these idealized, supportive, often chaotic family units, offering a kind of cultural counter-narrative to those anxieties. Much like the Weasleys provide in the wizarding world, they felt like a warm refuge.
And Rowling's heartfelt scenes in this chapter aren't just warm. They build these deep emotional connections through simple, specific domestic details. You know, think of Mrs. Weasley's endless cooking, or the sheer number of shoes piled up by the door, the gnomes in the garden. This intimate focus makes a fictional family feel incredibly real and beloved. It allows us, the readers, to feel truly part of the Weasley clan, even just for a chapter.
So true. So, for you listening, what does home truly mean? This chapter highlights the profound importance of finding your true home and family, whether that's by blood or by choice. It prompts us to consider that home is maybe more than just a physical place. It's that feeling of belonging, acceptance, and unconditional love that provides a sanctuary from the outside world.
The Burrow is just magical, isn't it? It's so full of life and personality, even with the ghoul in the attic.
It's a masterclass in making his setting feel like a character itself, complete with all its quirks and charms. A truly lived-in space.
Absolutely. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more insights into this incredible book.
Okay, so from the heart of the Burrow, we zoom in on two of its most vibrant and, let's be honest, chaotic inhabitants in Chapter 5, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Fred and George Weasley are introduced, or rather reintroduced, with their mischievous grins and wild inventions. They immediately steal the scene and set a very distinct, humorous tone.
They really do. Their dream of building this prank empire is central here, and it beautifully clashes with their mother's understandable disapproval.
Understandable, yes.
It leads to this lively family showdown that not only reveals the twins' truly unique personalities, but also their burgeoning entrepreneurial ambitions. It adds such a fantastic layer of humor and individual drive to the family dynamic. It shows they're more than just comic relief, they have real goals. And this chapter powerfully showcases the twins' youthful creativity, their innovation, and their, well, defiance against traditional expectations. Fred and George embody this entrepreneurial spirit that completely rejects conventional paths, even if it means clashing with parental authority, especially Molly's. What's more, the humor and lightheartedness they bring often serve as this crucial counterbalance to the increasing darkness in the series. It illustrates the role of laughter and rebellion in challenging authority or just coping with hardship. They're a necessary breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. And their entrepreneurial spirit, it very much mirrors the energy of the 1990s tech boom in the U.S.
Yeah.
That was an era where young innovators really challenged norms and struck it on their own, often against the skepticism of older generations.
Right, the dot-com bubble.
Exactly. Think about the rise of Silicon Valley startups like Netscape in the early 90s, or the rapid growth of companies like Amazon, often led by comparatively young, unconventional visionaries. It was a time defined by creating your own path and seeing opportunity in unconventional places. Much like Fred and George, see a huge market for extendable ears or skeeving snack boxes.
Definitely. And Rowling's witty dialogue in this chapter isn't just funny, it's sharply observant of adolescent rebellion and that classic clash of generations. Her playful energy, it's evident in the rapid-fire banter and the description of the absurd inventions. It truly keeps listeners chuckling.
Yeah.
It perfectly demonstrates her skill in crafting distinct voices for her characters and using humor effectively for both character development and, importantly, narrative pacing.
So true. This chapter raises an important question about balancing personal ambition with societal or even familial expectations. How do we nurture creativity and allow for unconventional paths, especially in young people, even if those paths seem a bit, well, pranky or outside the norm? Where's the line? Fred and George might also be the comedic relief, but their ambition and their actual vision for their business are truly impressive. They really set themselves apart.
Agreed. They have a plan. And speaking of ambitious journeys, the next chapter takes us on a real whirlwind ride that literally transports us into the broader wizarding world. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, buckle up for Chapter 6, The Portkey. This one is just pure magical chaos, isn't it? A seemingly tattered old boot becomes this magical portkey, a gateway to adventure. And what an adventure it is for Harry's first time.
Yeah, it's brilliantly disorienting. Harry and the Weasleys are literally hurtled toward the Quidditch World Cup through this chaotic, almost nauseating magical travel. And then Rowling immediately dazzles us with a whirlwind of excitement and wonder as they arrive at their destination, this huge, bustling campsite. It fully immerses us in the magical world's quirky, delightful transportation methods.
It really highlights the wizarding world's quirky ingenuity, doesn't it? Where everyday objects, like an old boot, are imbued with these extraordinary magical properties. It blends that sense of awe with a delightful touch of humor and mundaneness. That anticipation that has been building since the invitation back in Chapter 3, it really culminates in this moment of magical travel. It underscores the sheer wonder of Rowling's world building. It's a brilliant way to expand the scale of the world without relying on, say, typical grand magical effects like apparition yet.
That's a great point. And the concept of the Portkey as this instant transport device, it kind of reflects a pervasive 1990s fascination in the U.S. with instant connectivity and the idea of shrinking distances. Well, think about the early internet's promise. The excitement around dial-up internet services like AOL back then, and the idea that communication and information could now be instantaneous and global. It effectively transported people to new places and ideas with just a click, bridging geographical gaps in a way that felt revolutionary, much like a portkey bypasses normal travel.
That's a really interesting parallel. And Rowling's vivid imagery here isn't just descriptive, it's kinetic. She uses these active verbs and a really fast-paced narration to make the journey thrillingly real. She conveys that disorienting feeling of portkey travel with just a few punchy, effective sentences.
Yeah, you feel the hook behind the navel.
Exactly. It illustrates how even exposition about magical mechanics can be turned into an exciting narrative sequence through dynamic description. It makes a simple act of travel feel like a full-blown, slightly terrifying adventure.
It really does. And it makes you wonder about the unexpected pathways to adventure in our own lives, right? What seemingly ordinary boots could transport us to extraordinary experiences if we just recognize their potential and are maybe open to the unexpected, even if it feels a bit jarring at first.
That Portkey ride always gives me such a jolt, even just reading it. What an immediate and thrilling introduction to the broader wizarding world beyond just Hogwarts and Diagon Alley.
It certainly sets a new, grander scale for the events to come, doesn't it? It signals that this year will be truly different, operating on an international level.
Definitely. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. We got so much more to uncover. Okay, so arriving at the exciting backdrop of the Quidditch World Cup campsite, Chapter 7, Bagman and Crouch, introduces us to two incredibly contrasting figures from the Ministry. We meet the jovial, almost aggressively flamboyant Ludo Bagman, and then the stern, incredibly proper, unyielding Barty Crouch Sr.
Yeah, the contrast is immediate.
Yeah.
And their interaction immediately presents this subtle dance of charm and secrecy. You get hints of hidden motives right away. It leaves you questioning their true intentions and allegiances. You know instantly there's more to these characters than meets the eye, and that something deeper, perhaps unsettling, is at play within the Ministry itself.
This chapter truly introduces a deeper layer of intrigue and duality within the Ministry of Magic. It makes you realize that characters aren't always as they appear, especially those in power. Their public personas can mask complex or hidden agendas. It raises these fundamental questions about trust, ambition, and the different, often conflicting ways power is wielded and perceived in the wizarding world. It's definitely not black and white.
It's not. What's particularly insightful is how these characters kind of reflect some 1990s archetypes we saw in the U.S. Bagman's flashiness and slightly dubious charm. It recalls some of the dot-com entrepreneurs of that era, charismatic, perhaps a bit reckless, always promising big things, seemingly living on a high.
Right, lots of hype.
Exactly. Crouch, on the other hand, he perfectly evokes that rigid bureaucracy, maybe the older, more unyielding structures of government or corporate life. Unbending. This clash of styles, the flashy newcomer versus the old guard, was very much a part of the decades evolving professional landscape as new, agile, sometimes celebrity-like figures challenged these established, sometimes criticized institutions.
That's a great connection. And Rowling's nuanced characters aren't just described, their distinct voices are crafted so well through their dialogue and small, telling mannerisms, they come to life so quickly.
That do?
It shows her ability to establish complex character dynamics through subtle description, planting seeds for future reveals that you don't even realize are being planted on a first read. It's really masterful foreshadowing just through character interaction.
It really is. And this chapter prompts us to consider how often appearances can be deceiving, especially when it comes to positions of power or authority. It challenges us to ask, who do we truly trust and why? Especially when there are so many layers of public persona and potential hidden agendas at play. It's fascinating how early Rowling introduces these seemingly minor characters, Bagman and Crouch, who become so significant later on. She's subtly planting those narrative seeds right from the start.
It's masterful foreshadowing, absolutely. But, nothing foreshadows chaos. Quite like the next chapter, a spectacular public gathering that quickly turns absolutely terrifying. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates on our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Your support helps us keep exploring.
Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, Chapter 8, the Quidditch World Cup, finally comes alive. The stadium just roars with life as wizards from all over the globe unite for this breathtaking Quidditch match. It's a truly global spectacle. It is. And Rowling doesn't just describe the game. She completely immerses you in this pulse-pounding spectacle. She pulls you right into the excitement through vivid sensory details and really dynamic action writing.
Yeah, the vila, the leprechauns.
Exactly. But what's crucial here, and she does this so well, is that beneath all the cheers and the spectacle, a dark undercurrent lurks. She subtly hints at the chaos that is terrifyingly close to breaking loose. That joy feels almost fragile, precarious.
This chapter perfectly balances that exhilaration of a grand event with an increasing sense of foreboding. It showcases how quickly collective joy can turn to terror. It provides this vibrant snapshot of wizarding culture on a global scale, showing their communal spirit, their passion, but it also chillingly foreshadows how easily that unity can be shattered by fear and external threats. The light and dark are truly in balance here, almost teetering.
Yeah, and the event itself, it mirrors that 1990s sports mania we saw in the U.S., like the Olympics or major championships, but infused with Rowling's unique magical flair. It highlights that universal human desire for spectacle and shared experience. However, it also reminds us of the inherent vulnerability of such large public gatherings. A really sobering U.S. example, unfortunately, is the 1996 Centennial Olympic Park bombing during the Atlanta Olympics. That was a moment of immense public joy and international unity that was tragically disrupted by a terrorist attack. It showed just how easily such moments of unity can be shattered by malevolent forces.
That's a chilling parallel. And Rowling's action-packed scenes aren't just fast-paced. They use this vivid, kinetic language. She talks about blurs of color, thundering roars, sweeping dives to plunge listeners directly into the frenzy.
You feel like you're there.
Exactly. It illustrates her capacity to write these large-scale, dynamic sequences that feel cinematic and incredibly immersive. You feel like you're right there in the stands, holding your breath with every near catch of the snitch.
It really does. And this chapter makes us reflect on how fragile our moments of collective joy can be, doesn't it? And how easily they can be disrupted by forces of chaos or hate. It prompts us to consider, what are the subtle signs that a good time might be about to turn sour in our own experiences? And how vigilant are we, really, in recognizing them before it's too late? The sheer scale of the World Cup is incredible, truly. But it's that sudden jarring shift in tone right at the end that makes this chapter so powerful and impactful. It stays with you.
Oh, yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting and, frankly, terrifying. The wizarding world's long-buried fears erupt in a way no one was truly prepared for. It changes everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue this deep dive into the Goblet of Fire. And just like that, boom, the joy shatters completely. Chapter 9, The Dark Mark, is where the series takes a definitive, horrifyingly dark turn. A terrifying symbol, the Dark Mark, Voldemort's sign, blazes in the night sky, shattering the World Cup's joy with chilling finality. It leaves everyone stunned, terrified.
Yeah, Rowling absolutely does not hold back here. She immediately unleashes pure panic and, disturbingly, prejudice as fear grips the crowd. People are running, shouting, accusing. This chapter profoundly exposes the wizarding world's deepest divisions and underlying tensions. It reveals the rot, the deep-seated prejudice that exists just beneath the surface of the magical community. It's a moment of real societal trauma unfolding.
And this chapter intensely explores these themes of fear, mass hysteria, and the insidious nature of discrimination. It shows how easily suspicion can turn into scapegoating. Think of the poor house elf, Winky. And how quickly a unified crowd can turn on itself, pointing fingers. The appearance of the Dark Mark signals the undeniable, horrifying return of old evils, forcing the wizarding community to confront a threat they foolishly thought was gone for good.
It's so powerful. And the Dark Mark, as this potent hate symbol, it really reflects some of those 1990s fears in the U.S. about resurgent extremism and the painful parallels to real-world social divides. In the 90s, there was increased visibility and concern over the reemergence of, say, white supremacist groups or militia movements and the divisive symbols they employed.
Right, those undercurrents were definitely there.
Yeah, and events like the Oklahoma City bombing in '95, while complex in motivation, undeniably contributed to public fear about deep-seated ideological hatred reemerging unexpectedly within society. It showed how easily terror could strike, much like the Dark Mark instills terror and immediately divides the wizarding community.
And Rowling's intense narrative in this chapter isn't just about the plot unfolding, it's about conveying collective trauma. She uses these fragmented descriptions of the panicked crowd, people fleeing, spells firing blindly, and Harry's own visceral reactions like that sickening lurch in his stomach, his pounding heart. It creates this haunting delivery that leaves listeners breathless. It highlights her skill in making the reader feel the panic and fear right alongside the characters, experiencing the terror as if they were right there in the chaos.
It's incredibly effective.
Yeah.
And it raises a critical question for all of us, doesn't it? How do societies react when symbols of past horrors reappear, threatening to unravel progress and stir up old hatreds? What is our individual and collective responsibility when prejudice and fear take hold of a crowd? And how do we find the courage to resist that impulse, to think clearly amidst the chaos?
The Dark Mark. It's truly a moment of no return in the series, isn't it? It signifies that nothing will ever be the same. The war footing is back.
It fundamentally shifts the tone of the entire book, and really the entire series moving forward. That moment truly marks the end of Harry's, well, relatively innocent childhood adventures. The stakes are real now.
Absolutely. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Your engagement helps us bring you more deep dives like this one. Okay, so in the terrifying aftermath of the Dark Mark appearing, Chapter 10, Mayhem at the Ministry, pulls back the curtain to show us the official response. Or maybe the lack thereof. The Ministry of Magic scrambles to restore order amid public outrage and fear, but it's painfully clear they are struggling, maybe even fumbling, to control the situation.
Yeah, Rowling paints this vivid, almost farcical picture of bureaucratic chaos and incompetence here. You have ministry officials arguing, misdirecting blame. Harry and his friends are left to grapple with the confusing and frightening fallout of these dark events, highlighting just how deeply the fear and disarray have seeped into the very institutions meant to protect them.
Right.
The ministry, supposedly the pillar of order, seems to be crumbling under the pressure.
And this chapter really critiques that institutional fragility, doesn't it? It shows how even a powerful governing body can struggle to maintain control and, importantly, public trust in turbulent times. It highlights the ripple effects of fear, how public panic can lead to misdirected blame, again, poor Winky, and a breakdown of order even within these established systems. It's a very sharp piece of social commentary on how quickly trust and authority can just evaporate.
It really is. And the ministry's disarray, it echoes some of that 1990s skepticism toward government we saw in the U.S., particularly in the post-Cold War era and pre-9/11. There was this growing public awareness, maybe cynicism, about bureaucratic inefficiencies or limitations in handling complex crises.
Yeah, I remember that feeling.
Think about the debates surrounding government shutdowns in the mid-90s, for instance, or public criticism of federal responses to events like the Waco siege or the Ruby Ridge standoff. These incidents fueled a sense that established institutions weren't always competent or trustworthy when faced with complex, unpredictable situations.
And Rowling's sharp commentary isn't just about the ministry's failings, it's delivered through this compelling narration that keeps listeners hooked, even as things fall apart. She uses dialogue, think of Fudge's denials, and quick, chaotic scene changes to subtly weave social commentary and critiques of power structures into a fast-paced, magical narrative. It makes it both entertaining and deeply thought-provoking without ever feeling preachy.
She nails that balance. So this chapter really pushes us to ask, what happens when the very institutions meant to protect us seem overwhelmed or, worse, incompetent? How do individuals navigate a world where traditional sources of authority are shaken? And who can they truly rely on for order and, ultimately, for truth?
That feeling of chaos and disarray at the ministry is so palpable, it really makes you question who's genuinely in charge, doesn't it? It feels worryingly realistic sometimes.
It does, and it's a stark contrast to where Harry finds solace and a different kind of order, a return to routine next.
Don't miss out on any more insights. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates on our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Right after the chaos and fear surrounding the ministry's response, Chapter 11, Aboard the Hogwarts Express, feels like a much-needed return to some semblance of normalcy, albeit a fragile normalcy. The Hogwarts Express chugs through the countryside, and it truly becomes this kind of rolling sanctuary for Harry and his friends, a familiar space.
It's a comforting image, and this journey presents this beautiful tapestry of camaraderie. Ron, Harry, Hermione back together, but you can still feel that subtle undercurrent of unease among the students. Whispers about the World Cup, about the Dark Mark, they still linger. It creates this unique blend of comfort from the routine, but also this underlying tension, showing that even in familiar, comforting settings, the world has irrevocably changed.
Yeah, you can't just unsee the Dark Mark. This chapter really emphasizes the enduring power of friendship, though, and the comfort found in those established routines, even when the world outside feels like it's in turmoil. The train journey represents this powerful return to normalcy, but as you said, it's a fragile one. It highlights how things can never truly go back to exactly how they were.
Right.
Crucially, it serves as a transition. It hints at the challenges that still loom, even within the familiar confines of the journey back to school. The echoes of fear are present, but so is hope, carried within their friendships and their shared experiences.
It's a nice balance. And the train journey, it kind of reflects widespread 1990s nostalgia for simpler times in the U.S., often contrasted with growing societal tensions and the rapid pace of technological change back then. As the world felt more complex, there was often this yearning for stability and predictable comforts. You saw it in popular culture that celebrated close-knit communities or maybe a slower pace of life.
Like those family sitcoms you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. The enduring popularity of sitcoms focusing on friendships or family bonds as a kind of retreat from external anxieties. The Hogwarts Express provides that same kind of comforting, predictable space for the characters.
And Rowling's warm yet suspenseful prose in this chapter isn't just descriptive, it's incredibly atmospheric. She uses these gentle descriptions of the passing countryside, the sweets from the trolley, mixed with the lingering concerns voiced in the dialogue between the trio. It creates a really nuanced atmosphere.
Yeah.
This highlights her skill in blending seemingly contradictory tones, comfort, and suspense to perfectly capture the mood of the characters and the new reality they're facing. Nothing is purely simple anymore.
So true. So for you listening, where do you find your sanctuary when the world feels uncertain? This chapter powerfully reminds us that even amidst great change, the familiar rhythms and loyal relationships can provide a vital sense of stability and reassurance. They can act as a true refuge. The Hogwarts Express always feels like that deep breath before the plunge into the new school year, doesn't it? That sense of anticipation of returning home and away is almost palpable.
It truly is a moment of calm, and this year, that plunge is into something legendary, something that will test Harry and the entire school more than ever before. Big news is coming. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Your support makes a huge difference. Okay, the calm before the storm is over. The air crackles with excitement as we hit Chapter 12, the Triwizard Tournament. Hogwarts is absolutely buzzing with the electrifying news that this legendary high-stakes contest, the Triwizard Tournament, is returning after centuries. You can feel the energy shift.
Oh, definitely. Rowling truly ignites excitement with these tales. Dumbledore shares of past glory and legendary challenges. She paints this picture of incredible spectacle and interschool cooperation. But crucially, as the excitement builds, those shadows of danger begin to creep in again. Remember the mention of the death toll. It thrills and unsettles listeners simultaneously. You know it's going to be grand, but the historical accounts remind you it's also undeniably dangerous.
Yeah, eternal glory comes with a price tag. This chapter powerfully introduces themes of ambition, glory, and immense risk. The tournament isn't just a game. It's a high-stakes magical competition where honor and danger are inextricably intertwined. It raises the stakes immediately for Harry and the other students, even before he's involved. It masterfully sets up the central conflict between the irresistible allure of a grand spectacle and the profound underlying peril. It forces characters, and us readers, to question the true cost of glory and fame.
Absolutely. And the tournament, with its public display and high stakes, it kind of echoes some of those 1990s reality TV competitions starting to emerge in the U.S. They blended spectacle with genuine peril or intense pressure, where people competed for high stakes and public recognition.
Right, like early Survivor or those physical challenge shows.
Exactly. This was the era where shows like Survivor began, or even athletic competition shows like American Gladiators that pushed participants to their physical and mental limits. These shows created a new form of public spectacle where individuals pushed limits, and the unexpected twists often kept audiences on the edge of their seats, just like the Triwizard Tournament promises to do.
That's a great comparison. And Rowling's thrilling setup isn't just about revealing the tournament. She uses historical anecdotes and the students' buzzing excitement to create this immediate sense of scale and importance. Her dynamic narration builds immense anticipation for this major plot device. She imbues it with layers of history and legend, making it feel ancient, revered, and incredibly important to the wizarding world. It's not just sprung on us.
It feels weighty, and this chapter makes you consider the powerful allure of high-stakes competition, doesn't it? What are we, as individuals or as a society, willing to risk for glory or recognition? And what are the hidden dangers, both literal and metaphorical, of such pursuits? Is the prize worth the potential cost?
The Triwizard Tournament, it just sounds epic, doesn't it? The name alone. But you know, with great spectacle comes great danger, as Dumbledore himself warns. And Harry is about to learn that firsthand.
He certainly is. And a key part of that lesson, or maybe preparation, comes with the help of a very unique and extremely unconventional professor.
Oh, yes. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the Goblet of Fire, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Speaking of unique professors, Chapter 13 introduces one of the most memorable and impactful characters in the entire series, Mad-Eye Moody. A grizzled new defense against the dark arts professor, Alastor Moody, storms into Hogwarts with this presence that immediately demands attention and frankly raises a lot of questions. He's not like Lupin or Lockhart.
No, not at all. His paranoid edge, that constantly roving magical eye, his constant vigilance, his larger-than-life figure, immediately captivates you. You're drawn in by his gruff demeanor and his unwavering focus on danger. His intensity unmistakably hints at deeper secrets, making him an intriguing and deeply unsettling presence right from his first lesson. He's not a comforting figure, but he commands a grudging respect.
He truly embodies hypervigilance, doesn't he? And the constant need for caution, particularly in a world where deception is clearly rampant, as we've already seen with the Dark Mark incident. He constantly challenges the students' constant vigilance, to see beyond appearances, to question everything, to be prepared for the absolute worst. He's a complex character who unapologetically shakes up Hogwarts' traditional teaching methods. He forces students and us as the audience to confront really uncomfortable truths about what it actually takes to defend against the dark arts. It's not theoretical anymore.
Exactly. And Moody, he reflects that 1990s fascination in the U.S. with anti-heroes and maybe a growing distrust of traditional authority figures. Think of characters like Fox Mulder from The X-Files, who was popular then, a maverick FBI agent who often defied protocol and questioned official narratives, appealing to a public that was maybe growing a bit cynical about established systems.
Yeah, the lone wolf who sees the truth.
Right. Moody is unconventional. He's clearly flawed, probably deeply traumatized, but he's presented as ultimately effective. That resonated with the sentiment of needing someone outside the normal system to truly see and fight the real threats.
And Rowling's vivid character work for Moody isn't just about his magical eye or his limp. It's about his unique cadence, his clipped speech, his gruff narration that makes him instantly iconic. She crafts these instantly memorable characters through distinctive mannerisms and dialogue, like his constant growling of constant vigilance. His powerful aura truly leaps off the page. He's unforgettable from moment one.
He really is. And his presence raises an important question. How do we discern truth and trust in individuals who might seem unorthodox, maybe even unsettling, but who challenge us to see things differently? Are conventional methods always the safest? Or do we sometimes need a mad eye, someone abrasive but experienced, to show us the way, pushing us beyond our comfort zones to face reality? Moody's introduction is just brilliant. You immediately know he's different, and that difference, that harsh realism, is arguably exactly what Harry and the others need at this point.
He certainly is, a shock to the system. And what he teaches them next, wow, it really ratchets up the stakes immediately, showing them the true, ugly face of darkness.
You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And just like you said, the stakes ratchet up significantly, maybe terrifyingly so. Chapter 14, The Unforgivable Curses, takes us right into Moody's classroom, and it becomes this chilling stage for a raw, unsettling display of power that absolutely shocks everyone, especially the students. Yeah, he demonstrates the darkest spells of the wizarding world. The Unforgivable Curses, the Imperious Curse for Control, the Cruciatus Curse for Torture, and Avada Kedavra, the Killing Curse. On spiders, thankfully, but still.
Still horrifying.
It's a truly horrifying lesson. It leaves listeners stunned by the visceral display of immense destructive power and the profound ethical dilemmas that are immediately presented to these 14-year-olds.
This chapter delves so deeply into the ethics of magic and the seductive danger of dark magic. It challenges Harry's worldview, forcing him to confront the true meaning of evil, not just as an abstract concept, but as a tangible, usable force.
Right.
It underscores the profound moral boundaries that exist, showing the devastating and, well, unforgivable consequences of wielding magic to control, inflict pain, or kill. Rowling is making it crystal clear. There are lines that should never, ever be crossed, no matter the justification.
Absolutely. And the curses and the ethical implications Moody raises, they mirror some of those 1990s debates in the U.S. over moral boundaries, particularly in emerging technology and power. As new advancements came about, think about the cloning of Dolly the sheep in 1996, which sparked huge ethical debates, or early discussions around the ethical use of advanced weaponry like drone technology. Starting to develop these ethical questions about potential misuse became really prominent.
Yeah, the should we versus could we debate.
Exactly. This chapter really taps into that societal conversation about what limits should be placed on power and scientific advancement when the potential for harm is just so immense.
And Rowling's intense scenes are delivered with this somber narration that hits listeners hard. The classroom setting, normally a place of safe learning, becomes this place of grim, terrifying reality. She doesn't shy away from depicting the raw power and horror of these spells, trusting her young audience to grapple with complex moral issues. It's a real testament to her respect for her readers, I think.
I agree. And it raises a crucial ethical question for all of us. What lines should never be crossed, even in the pursuit of power or perceived justice? How do we understand and resist the most destructive forces? And what are the implications of even learning about them, both in a fictional world like this and perhaps in our own? Does knowledge itself carry a burden?
Those curses, demonstrating them in a classroom, it really shows you just how dark things can get, and that evil isn't just something abstract to read about in a history book. It's real, it's learnable.
A necessary, if profoundly uncomfortable, lesson for Harry and the reader. It sets a completely new standard for the stakes and the reality of the wizarding world in the series.
Definitely. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our deep dive into the Goblet of Fire. Your support fuels our magical deep dives. Okay, after that incredibly heavy lesson, we get a dazzling interlude amidst the darkness in Chapter 15, Beauxbatons and Durmstrang. Hogwarts welcomes visitors from two other prestigious European magical schools for the tournament, and their entrances, they are an immediate spectacle, aren't they?
Oh, truly. The Beauxbatons carriage pulled by flying horses, the Durmstrang ship rising from the lake. It creates an immediate visual spectacle. And a vibrant clash of cultures, too. You feel the pride and the rivalry between the schools almost instantly. There's tension simmering beneath the surface, hinting at competitive dynamics that will definitely play out in the tournament, both on the field and socially.
This chapter explores themes of diversity, cultural exchange, and both healthy and perhaps sometimes unhealthy competition. It really highlights the vastness of the wizarding world beyond just Britain. It shows us there's so much more to it than just Hogwarts, broadening the scope. And it subtly touches on first impressions and the formation of stereotypes based on national or institutional identity, as the Hogwarts students immediately start sizing up the visitors based on their appearance and reputation, the glamorous Beauxbatons girls, the stern Durmstrang boys.
Yeah, and the international schools arriving, it reflects those 1990s globalization and cultural exchange trends we saw growing in the U.S. As the world became more interconnected through media and travel, there was definitely a growing interest in understanding and interacting with different cultures.
Right. The world felt like it was shrinking.
Exactly. Think of the rise of MTV reaching a global audience, or global music acts becoming mainstream in the U.S., or even just the increasing availability of international cuisines and products in American cities. It fostered this broader cultural curiosity and a sense of a shrinking world, much like these schools arriving at Hogwarts does.
And Rowling's colorful descriptions here aren't just decorative. They create this real sense of theatricality and grandeur. Her lively narration describes the elaborate entrances and the distinct aesthetics of each school. The silks of Beauxbatons, the furs of Durmstrang, making these new arrivals truly memorable and setting them distinctly apart from Hogwarts. It enriches the wine building immensely.
It really does. And this chapter reminds us of the excitement, but also the challenges that come with encountering different cultures. It asks us to consider, how do we navigate those initial judgments, those stereotypes? How do we embrace the richness that diversity brings, rather than allowing it to become a source of division or prejudice, especially in a competitive setting?
The arrival of the other schools is just so glamorous and exciting, isn't it? Such a distinct visual and atmospheric shift for Hogwarts.
A truly grand entrance indeed. It perfectly sets the stage for the ultimate selection itself. The anticipation is almost unbearable now. Who will be chosen?
Exactly. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. The moment of truth finally arrives in Chapter 16, The Goblet of Fire. The ancient magical goblet blazes into life, poised to choose the champions for the Triwizard Tournament. It radiates this immense, ancient power. You feel the weight of the moment.
Rowling weaves this thrilling ritual full of anticipation and ceremony. Dumbledore's warnings add gravity. She builds the tension to a fever pitch, with every name drawn: Crumb for Durmstrang, Delacour for Beauxbatons, Diggory for Hogwarts.
Right.
But then comes the crucial, completely unexpected twist. A fourth name emerges from the flames. Harry's name. It sends these absolute shock waves of disbelief through the Great Hall and grips listeners with sheer bewilderment. It's a moment that changes everything, instantly.
It really does. This chapter masterfully builds suspense around concepts like fate and destiny, with the goblet acting as the symbol of an unpredictable, maybe even sentient, powerful, magical force. And that unforeseen twist, Harry's name coming out, immediately introduces this profound sense of danger and unfairness. It shatters all expectations and signals that this tournament is absolutely not as straightforward or safe as it seemed. It's a huge, pivotal shift in the narrative and in Harry's entire journey. He's trapped.
He is. And the selection process, particularly with that shocking surprise, it definitely echoes some of the drama we saw in 1990s reality shows in the U.S. They relied on high stakes and unexpected twists to keep audiences on the edge of their seats. The idea of an unexpected contestant suddenly appearing, or a rule being bent or broken, was common.
Oh yeah, manufactured drama.
Exactly. It created moments of intense public reaction and speculation, much like Harry's name. inexplicably coming out of the Goblet does in the Great Hall. Think of the water cooler talk the day after a dramatic elimination, or some unexpected rule twist on shows like Survivor or The Real World. It had that same feeling of, wait, what just happened?
That's a perfect analogy. And Rowling's dramatic pacing in this chapter is impeccable. She stretches out those moments before the names are called, building the silence, then delivers the intense narration of Harry's name being announced with this sudden, jarring impact. This highlights her skill in orchestrating a major plot twist that not only surprises, but profoundly shifts the narrative direction and the character arcs for Harry, Ron, Hermione, and everyone around him. Nothing is the same after this.
Nothing. And it raises an important question, doesn't it? How do we react when fate, or something that feels like fate, throws us an unexpected curveball? Especially one that seems inherently unfair or dangerous and completely beyond our control. How do we cope when our lives are irrevocably changed by something we never asked for? Something that puts us in the spotlight under suspicion. The Goblet of Fire choosing Harry. It is truly the moment everything changes, isn't it? It propels him onto an entirely new and incredibly perilous path, whether he wants it or not.
It's the ultimate betrayal in a way, a public accusation almost, and it immediately sets the stage for a year of profound isolation for Harry, even from his closest friends. Don't miss out on any more insights into the Goblet of Fire. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, the fallout from that shocking twist is immediate and brutal in Chapter 17, The Four Champions. Shock ripples through Hogwarts as Harry's unthinkable choice sinks in, and the whispers of accusation and disbelief begin almost instantly.
Yeah, Rowling doesn't pull any punches here. She brilliantly crafts this storm of disbelief, suspicion, and outright betrayal, particularly and most painfully from his closest friend, Ron.
That hurts.
It does. It immediately pulls listeners directly into Harry's emotional turmoil and his profound sense of isolation. It makes his pain and his sense of injustice incredibly palpable. You really feel for him.
This chapter powerfully explores Harry's sudden isolation and the profound unfairness of being thrust into this dangerous competition against his will without the support of many of his peers, especially those in his own house. It delves into the immediate breakdown of trust, particularly with Ron. It highlights how quickly public opinion and suspicion can turn, even against someone who is clearly innocent or against someone you thought was closest to you. It's a harsh lesson in public perception and jealousy.
It really is. And the unfairness of this election, it reflects some of those 1990s concerns in the U.S. about meritocracy versus favoritism. Accusations of unfair advantages or rigged systems in competitions or even in institutions like college admissions could generate significant public outcry back then.
Right, the idea of a level playing field.
It's exactly. Debates around things like affirmative action policies or controversies over special admissions processes often spark public discussions about fairness and equity. The idea of someone getting an undeserved advantage, like Harry supposedly did, could lead to widespread resentment and accusations of an unfair system, just like we see happening at Hogwarts.
And Rowling's emotional depth in this chapter is conveyed so effectively through Harry's internal monologue, his confusion, his hurt, and the terse, strained dialogue, especially between him and Ron. Her heartfelt narration subtly highlights Harry's vulnerability. It makes his struggles deeply relatable, despite the magical setting. You feel his pain of being unjustly ostracized and completely misunderstood.
You do. And this chapter makes us reflect on what it feels like to be unjustly accused or isolated, maybe even by those closest to us. It forces us to consider, how do we navigate moments when the world seems to turn against us? And how do we find strength and resolve, maybe even prove our innocence or worth in those challenging, incredibly lonely times?
That feeling of being so utterly misunderstood, especially by your best friends, it's truly heartbreaking, isn't it? It's one of the most emotionally painful parts of the book for me.
It is. It really emphasizes the immense burden of Harry's fame, how it's a double-edged sword, and how easily that fame can turn against him, making him a target of suspicion rather than admiration.
So true. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, the pressure on Harry just continues to mount in Chapter 18, The Weighing of the Wands. What should be this formal, sort of ceremonial ritual quickly turns incredibly tense. The champions face intense scrutiny, especially from the wizarding media, embodied by the truly awful Rita Skeeter.
Ugh, Rita Skeeter. Rowling brilliantly blends humor here, primarily through Skeeter's obnoxious, intrusive presence and her quick quotes quill with the intense pressure Harry is under. He has to navigate this media frenzy that feels incredibly personal and invasive. It amplifies his discomfort and makes his life, already difficult, into a public spectacle based on lies.
And this chapter powerfully examines those intense pressures of fan and public judgment. It highlights Harry's struggle to maintain his composure and dignity under this relentless, unfair media scrutiny. It also brilliantly introduces, or rather solidifies, the theme of media manipulation and the sensationalist nature of journalism, where facts aren't just distorted, they're completely fabricated for a compelling headline, regardless of the truth or the personal cost to the subject.
Absolutely. And the media scrutiny here, it perfectly mirrors that 1990s tabloid culture and celebrity obsession we saw booming in the U.S. That was an era where the private lives of public figures became constant fodder for sensationalist reporting and incredibly intrusive paparazzi.
Oh yeah, it felt relentless sometimes.
Totally. Think of the intense and often deeply unfair media scrutiny faced by figures like Princess Diana globally, or the pervasive coverage of the O.J. Simpson trial here in the U.S., where every personal detail was dissected and sensationalized for public consumption. It often led to a climate of public distrust in certain media outlets. Skeeter embodies that perfectly.
She really does. And Rowling's sharp wit in her dialogue, particularly for Skeeter and her venomous quill and her lively delivery in describing the chaos Skeeter creates, it keeps listeners engaged, even amidst the tension of this chapter. She uses satire as this sharp tool to critique real-world issues like tabloid journalism and media ethics. She makes the commentary both entertaining and incredibly pointed, almost prophetic in its observation of how media can twist narratives.
It feels very relevant even today. And it raises an important question. How do we distinguish truth from sensationalism in the media we consume, especially when public figures are involved, or even in our own social media feeds? And how does intense public scrutiny impact individual well-being? It forces people to navigate a world where their own narrative is constantly being twisted and misrepresented. Rita Skeeter is a truly vile character, absolutely. But she perfectly embodies the dangers of unchecked sensationalist media, driven by clicks or sales over truth.
Indeed. A necessary evil in the plot, perhaps. And Harry's about to face a very different, far more literal kind of fire. He's about to confront the first challenge of the Triwizard Tournament head-on, dragon and all. If you're gaining valuable insights from this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share. We're roughly halfway through Harry's toughest year in the Goblet of Fire. Okay, get ready to hold your breath, everyone. Chapter 19. The Hungarian Horntail plunges Harry into his first absolutely terrifying Triwizard task. A massive, fire-breathing dragon, the Hungarian Horntail described as the most dangerous one, looms as Harry's seemingly insurmountable challenge. Just the description is intimidating.
It really is. Rowling truly crafts a heart-pounding encounter here, full of visceral danger. She describes the dragon's flashing yellow eyes, its spiked tail whipping around, making it feel genuinely monstrous and deadly. Courage and cunning collide in this blaze of peril, as Harry must strategize not just to win the golden egg, but simply to survive this terrifying beast. It's a genuine fight for his life, not some school competition anymore.
And this chapter powerfully showcases Harry's incredible bravery, doesn't it? Not just in facing this terrifying creature head-on, but equally important in his quick thinking and resourcefulness. He has to come up with a plan on the fly.
Using the summoning charm.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using his broomstick, a tool of sport, as a weapon of survival. It firmly establishes the tournament's inherent mortal peril. It reminds everyone, the characters and us, that this is far from a game. Harry is genuinely fighting for his life. And the consequences are very, very real.
They are. And the dragon battle, it reflects some of those 1990s action hero tropes we loved in the US, but amped up with magical intensity. It's the classic underdog versus the formidable foe, where quick thinking and maybe a little bit of luck can save the day.
Think of action blockbusters like Speed from 1994, where Keanu Reeves' character had to constantly improvise against a seemingly impossible fast-moving threat.
Yeah.
Or maybe Die Hard with a Vengeance in 95, where Bruce Willis's hero faced overwhelming physical odds with ingenious, often improvised solutions. Harry's strategy with the firebolt fits right into that resourceful hero archetype.
It really does. And Rowling's thrilling prose doesn't just tell you Harry is scared. It uses these vivid sensory details, the scorching heat from the dragon's breath, the crackling roar that shakes the stadium, Harry's own pounding heart, to make listeners feel the heat and the terror of this encounter.
You're right there with him.
Yeah. It demonstrates her exceptional ability to write these high-octane action sequences that are both visually imaginative and incredibly emotionally engaging. It pulls you right into the fire with him.
It does. And it makes you wonder about the true nature of courage, right? Is it the absence of fear, or is it acting despite overwhelming fear? How do we find our own ingenuity and resourcefulness when faced with challenges that seem overwhelming, maybe impossible to overcome? And how do we tap into that inner well of strength we didn't know we had?
The horntail is just terrifying. I remember holding my breath reading that chapter for the first time. It really set a new standard for the dangers in this series. No more Fluffy the three-headed dog.
A truly unforgettable first task, absolutely. And a stark reminder that the stakes are no longer metaphorical or potential. Harry has stepped into a life-or-death arena now.
Definitely. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, following directly from that intense dragon encounter, Chapter 20, The First Task, shows the full spectacle of the Triwizard Tournament's first trial. It erupts in danger and daring, with all 4 champions participating now.
Right, we see Cedric, Fleur, and Crumb face their dragons too. Rowling delivers edge-of-your-seat action for each champion, showing different strategies and levels of success. But the focus naturally remains on Harry. This chapter is really about Harry proving his mettle and his strategic thinking under extreme pressure. It shows he's more than just a lucky hero or the boy who lived coasting on reputation. He relies on his wits, his flying skill, and the guidance he received crucially from Moody to succeed.
And this chapter emphasizes Harry's incredible resilience, doesn't it? And his capacity for strategic thinking. It shows that his success isn't just luck. It's a powerful combination of raw courage, some hasty preparation thanks to Hermione, and cleverness in using his strengths. He doesn't just charge in blindly, he plans, even if it's a last-minute plan. It also highlights that intense pressure of public performance in a high-stakes environment. Every single move is watched, scrutinized, and judged by an entire audience, including judges, which adds another layer of difficulty to an already impossible task.
It really does. And the task itself, as this public display of extreme challenge, it mirrors some of those 1990s extreme sports and reality show challenges that were gaining popularity in the U.S. Individuals push their physical and mental limits for entertainment and glory. Think about the rise of the X Games in the mid-90s, showcasing daring and often dangerous stunts on skateboards or bikes.
Yeah, totally.
Or those early reality competition shows that featured intense physical challenges, often in dramatic settings, all performed under intense public observation. It captured that same cultural fascination with pushing boundaries under scrutiny.
And Rowling's pulse-pounding scenes are crafted so well. She uses varied sentence lengths, short and sharp for action, longer for Harry's thoughts and strong verbs, creating this dynamic narration that thrills listeners throughout the chapter.
Yeah, the pacing is great.
It showcases her mastery of narrative pacing, building tension with tight descriptions of near misses, and then providing that release as Harry finally snatches the golden egg. It keeps you completely hooked from one moment to the next. It's so true. And it makes you consider what true bravery looks like when the stakes are literally life or death, and you're performing under that kind of intense public scrutiny. How do we draw on our inner resources and maintain composure when faced with immense pressure in the eyes of the world upon us? And what does succeeding or even just surviving reveal about our true character? The first task is over, thankfully. Harry survived. But as we know, the challenges are just beginning for him, and they'll take many, many different forms beyond just facing down dragons.
Absolutely. And for Hermione, actually, a new kind of challenge is just starting. One that's very close to her heart and, importantly, shines a light on some hidden, uncomfortable truths of the wizarding world. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share for more insights into the Goblet of Fire. Okay, from the high-stakes action of the first task, we pivot to a very different kind of battle in Chapter 21. The House Elf Liberation Front. This is really Hermione's moment to shine, isn't it? Her fiery crusade for House Elf rights sparks this passionate debate, mostly ridicule and dismissal among the students. Yeah, poor Hermione. Rowling skillfully weaves passion and humor into her portrayal of Hermione's activism. She showcases Hermione's unwavering conviction despite facing immense pushback, even from her best friends sometimes. And crucially, through Hermione's new empathetic lens, she reveals the wizarding world's deeply hidden injustices. She forces a conversation about uncomfortable truths, essentially. Slave labor that many wizards would rather just ignore or rationalize away.
It's such a powerful subplot. This chapter is a pivotal exploration of activism, social justice, and the profound importance of empathy for marginalized groups, even when everyone else is complacent or even hostile. Hermione exemplifies what it means to stand up for what's right, regardless of popularity or whether it's the easy path. SPEW might sound silly, but her intentions are pure.
Absolutely.
It directly challenges the deeply ingrained societal norms and prejudices within the wizarding world, making readers consider their own biases and potential complicity in systems of injustice, even fictional ones.
And Hermione's cause, it echoes many 1990s social justice movements we saw in the U.S. Think about environmental activism or labor rights activism, where passionate individuals fought for the rights of the voiceless or for neglected causes. This was a time of growing awareness for various rights movements, whether it was advocating for animal rights, fighting for fairer labor practices, or pushing for environmental protection, often against significant public indifference or powerful corporate opposition. Hermione's tireless advocacy, even when it's unpopular and mocked, directly mirrors these real-world activist efforts.
That's a great parallel. And Rowling's heartfelt narrative isn't just warm, it's genuinely inspiring here. She uses Hermione's clear, logical arguments mixed with her fierce determination to create this passionate delivery that really inspires listeners, or at least makes you think. This demonstrates her remarkable ability to seamlessly integrate important social commentary and moral lessons into her fantasy narrative. It feels organic to Hermione's character and deeply impactful to the world she's built, rather than feeling like a tacked-on lecture.
Definitely. And it raises an important question for all of us. What injustices exist in our own world that we might be overlooking, simply because they're normalized or accepted as just the way things are? What is our responsibility to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves? And how do we overcome apathy or the fear of being ridiculed to fight for what's right?
Hermione championing SPW is honestly one of my favorite parts of the book. It's so true to her character, that fierce intellect combined with an equally fierce moral compass.
It really highlights her unwavering moral core and absolutely foreshadows her future role in trying to create a fairer wizarding world. It shows her innate leadership qualities, even when she's fighting a lonely battle.
So true. If you're enjoying this chapter-by-chapter depth dive, please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, after the serious social commentary of House Elf Rights, Chapter 22, The Unexpected Task, brings us crashing back down to the very relatable and often incredibly awkward world of teenagers. A glittering Yule Ball announcement stirs immense excitement throughout Hogwarts, but also, predictably, a healthy dose of awkwardness and anxiety among the students, especially our main trio.
Oh, the panic. Rowling perfectly captures the universal experience of teenage romance, or lack thereof, and the intense social pressure surrounding events like this. She masterfully blends humor. Think Ron's disastrous attempts to ask Fleur with heartfelt moments as the characters, despite their magical abilities and world-saving duties, navigate these new, often uncomfortable emotions just like any normal teenager would. It's a really grounding moment amidst the larger dangers.
It really is. This chapter profoundly delves into the raw vulnerability of youth, particularly in navigating unfamiliar social rituals like dating and formal events. Harry, despite his fame and having just faced a dragon, is still a very relatable teenager here, bumbling through the process of finding a date with an endearing clumsiness. It's almost painful to read sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It perfectly illustrates the social pressures of high school, finding a date, worrying about what to wear, navigating friendships and crushes. It adds this very human and grounded element amidst the grand, magical world and the looming tournament tasks.
Definitely. And the ball announcement, the whole drama around finding a date, it reflects that quintessential 1990s teen culture and prom drama we saw so much of in the U.S., just with a magical twist. The anxieties, the expectations, the crushing awkwardness surrounding formal dances are pretty universal, right? And the 90s were absolutely rife with teen movies like Clueless from 95 or 10 Things I Hate About You from 99 that perfectly capture the essence of prom or formal dance anxieties. This chapter taps right into that same vein.
It really does. And Rowling's charming scenes aren't just sweet, they demonstrate her versatility as a writer. She uses witty dialogue and those relatable internal monologues to create this warm narration. She seamlessly transitions from high-stakes action and social justice issues to relatable adolescent social comedy without losing her narrative stride at all. This balance keeps the story feeling rich and authentic.
She handles it so well, and it makes you reflect on your own experiences, maybe, with social pressures and first crushes, or asking someone out. It prompts us to consider, how do we navigate these universal rites of passage, even or especially in extraordinary circumstances? And what do they teach us about ourselves, our vulnerabilities, and our relationships?
Ah, the Yule Ball buildup. The awkwardness is almost too real. It's practically a masterclass in teenage angst and miscommunication.
It truly is. It's a fantastic reminder that even in a magical world filled with dragons and dark lords, teenage drama and social anxieties are completely universal and inescapable.
So true. Keep those likes and subscriptions coming. And share this deep dive with friends who love the Goblet of Fire. The anticipation, the stress, the dress robes, it all culminates in Chapter 23, the Yule Ball. Hogwarts transforms into this absolutely dazzling winter spectacle, Rowling's descriptions really immerse us in the glamour and the magic of the event.
They really do. The Great Hall sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And the night itself unfolds with this whirlwind of dance, drama, and, oh boy, jealousy. It creates this complex tapestry of emotions that keeps you completely hooked. Friendships and rivalries flare under the twinkling lights, exposing underlying tensions, especially between Ron and Hermione, and shifting relationship dynamics that will have lasting impacts on the characters. So much happens off the dance floor.
Absolutely. This chapter profoundly explores the complexities of adolescent relationships and social dynamics. It showcases burgeoning romances, Harry and Parvati, Hermione and Krum hitting crushes, and that painful sting of jealousy that feels incredibly authentic and relatable, particularly Ron's reaction. The ball, while beautiful and glamorous on the surface, truly serves as this glittering backdrop for significant character conflicts and crucial emotional development, rather than just being a simple celebratory event. It's where a lot of unspoken feelings and personal dramas finally boil over in public.
Definitely. And the Yule Ball, it mirrors those classic 1990s teen movie tropes like the memorable prom or dance scenes, just infused with magic. It captures the heightened emotions and pivotal moments of such events that were staples in popular culture then. Think of memorable prom or dance scenes in U.S. teen films from the 90s, maybe like She's All That from 99 or Can't Hardly Wait from 98.
Oh, yeah.
Those scenes were often crucibles for emotional revelations, dramatic misunderstandings, and major relationship shifts, often played for high drama and sometimes comedic effect, much like the Yule Ball delivers for our characters.
And Rowling's vivid descriptions here aren't merely decorative. They're incredibly immersive. She uses sensory details, the twinkling icicles, the scent of roast turkey still lingering, the strains of the Weird Sisters' music to create this palpable emotional atmosphere. Her festive narration makes listeners feel like they're right there, part of the glamour, but also keenly aware of the underlying drama unfolding between the characters. It demonstrates her ability to create these immersive settings that are rich in sensory detail and contribute significantly to the emotional weight of the scene.
She paints such a picture. And it makes you consider how social events, even the ostensibly joyful ones, can become these crucibles for profound emotional revelations and significant relationship shifts. It prompts us to reflect what's often hidden beneath the surface of celebrations. And how do these high-pressure social moments bring out true feelings, for better, or as Ron demonstrates, often for worse? So much emotional turmoil packed into one single festive night. It's a real testament to how character-driven this book is, even amidst the grand spectacle of the tournament.
It really is. The relationships are key. And speaking of turmoil, the next chapter introduces, or rather reintroduces, someone who absolutely thrives on creating it. A character who truly embodies the worst aspects of invasive media. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Right, the party's over, and the consequences, particularly for Harry and Hermione, hit hard in Chapter 24, Rita Skeeter's Scoop. The scandal-hungry reporter Rita Skeeter wastes absolutely no time spinning malicious lies based on eavesdropped conversations and pure invention, shaking Hogwarts to its core with her article in Witch Weekly.
Ugh, she's the worst. Rowling crafts this truly biting satire of media manipulation and sensationalism through Skeeter's outrageous antics and her enchanted quill. Harry once again faces intense public scrutiny, but this time it's also Hermione who suffers. They both face the profound betrayal of having their private lives, their feelings distorted and fabricated for public consumption. It's a painful lesson in the destructive power of the press when it's unchecked.
And this chapter intensely critiques the perils of fame and the devastating power of misinformation. It highlights how easily narratives can be fabricated, especially about public figures, and how incredibly difficult it is to combat lies once they're published and spread, especially by an unscrupulous journalist with a clear agenda and a wide readership. It underscores the immense power of words to shape public opinion and inflict real, personal, lasting damage. It shows the true cost of unchecked reporting and gossip.
Absolutely. And Rita's antics, they perfectly reflect that 1990s tabloid culture and the rise of sensationalist journalism in the U.S. that we talked about earlier, where shocking headlines and exaggerated, often completely untrue, stories frequently took precedence over factual reporting. It led to a climate of distrust in certain media outlets, but people still read them.
Right, the spectacle sells.
It's exactly. Think of the intense media circus around celebrity trials or political scandals like the Paula Jones or Monica Lewinsky affairs during the Clinton administration here in the U.S. Personal lives were relentlessly exposed and sensationalized, often without full regard for accuracy or individual privacy. Skeeter is the magical embodiment of that trend.
She really is. And Rowling's sharp wit in her dialogue for Skeeter isn't just funny in a dark way, it's incisive. Her sly narration exposes the absurdity and the real danger of unchecked media. It keeps listeners hooked even when dealing with such a despicable character and her methods. It demonstrates her powerful use of satire as a tool to address very real-world issues like media ethics and the cult of celebrity within her fantasy world, making it both entertaining and deeply relevant.
It still feels relevant today, maybe even more so, and it raises an important question for all of us. How do we critically evaluate the information we consume, especially when it comes from sources with clear agendas or an obvious thirst for sensation over substance? How do we protect ourselves and others from the damaging effects of misinformation and malicious gossip in our own world where quick quotes quills aren't even needed anymore?
Rita Skeeter is truly the worst. She's a character you just love to hate, but she does make a great, if uncomfortable, point about the media, doesn't she?
A very sharp observation on Rowling's part indeed. And while dealing with Skeeter's fallout, Harry still has a critical tournament task to prepare for, one that relies on secrets and clever interpretation, far away from the public eye this time.
Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share for more insights into the Goblet of Fire. Okay, so moving away from the very public scrutiny caused by Rita Skeeter, Harry is plunged back into a personal mystery in Chapter 25, The Egg and the Eye. He has this mysterious clue, the golden egg from the first task, and a rather shadowy, unexpected encounter in the prefect's bathroom. It deepens the sense of danger around Harry, shifting the focus back from social peril to magical puzzles and peril.
Yeah, that bathroom scene is memorable. Rowling weaves suspense and discovery here, building on the earlier hints of peril that have been present since the tournament began. Slowly, secrets begin to unravel in Hogwarts' depths, literally, underwater in this case, as Harry pieces together the complex puzzles of the tournament. This chapter is all about decoding hidden messages, needing help from unexpected sources like Moaning Myrtle.
It really emphasizes the importance of mystery solving, doesn't it? And Harry's growing resourcefulness in piecing together complex clues. He often needs help, which is realistic, from unexpected allies like Cedric Diggory, who tips him off about the bath, or even Myrtle. It highlights the process of unveiling hidden information and the increasing sense that there are much larger, darker forces at play than just the tournament itself. Harry isn't just reacting anymore. He's actively trying to figure things out, developing his detective skills, however reluctantly.
Definitely. And the clue hunting element, trying to decipher the egg's scream, it reflects that 1990s fascination we had in the U.S. with puzzle-based games and adventure stories. Deciphering riddles and exploring hidden passages were key elements of the narrative back then. Think of the immense popularity of point-and-click adventure video games like Myst, which came out in '93, or the Indiana Jones adventure game.
Oh, I remember Ist. So hard.
Right. They required players to solve complex environmental puzzles and uncover secrets to progress, appealing to a generation that loved a good brain teaser, just like Harry has to solve the egg.
And Rowling's gripping narrative here isn't just about the plot advancing, it's about the feeling of discovery, that aha moment. Her tense delivery focuses on the sensory details of cracking the code, the horrible wailing of the egg above water, then the surprising, beautiful sound of the merpeople's song underwater. It keeps listeners guessing and engaged.
Yeah.
This showcases her ability to integrate puzzle elements seamlessly into the plot, maintaining high suspense and driving the narrative forward without feeling forced or artificial. It feels like a natural part of the challenge.
It does. And it makes you wonder about the power of hidden clues and the process of discovery in our own lives.
Yeah.
How often do we overlook obvious answers, maybe, or fail to see the crucial connections between seemingly disparate pieces of information simply because we're not looking closely enough, or perhaps not from the right perspective, like listening underwater? The egg is such a clever clue, isn't it? It demands a completely different kind of thinking from Harry than just raw power or courage like the first task. Lateral thinking.
It really is. And the second task, which the egg reveals, is all about thinking outside the box. Or in this case, outside the water. A truly unique and dangerous challenge awaits him in the Black Lake.
You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, diving headfirst into danger, quite literally, Chapter 26, the second task, presents Harry with this chilling challenge in the murky depths of the Black Lake. It tests his courage, yes, but crucially, it tests his loyalty to his friends, his inherent goodness.
Rowling delivers absolutely heart-stopping action here. She creates immense tension as time ticks down that 1 hour limit, and Harry faces this entirely alien, hostile environment filled with Grindylows and suspicious merpeople. It's a watery ordeal where Harry must risk everything, not just to succeed in the task by rescuing Ron, but in his mind, to ensure the safety of others he cares about too, like Gabrielle Delacour. The stakes become incredibly personal and profound for him. This chapter deeply emphasizes themes of sacrifice and the profound importance of friendship, doesn't it? Harry risks his own life, risks failing the task entirely, not just for his designated hostage, but for the safety of others he feels responsible for. It shows his true character, his moral compass.
It really does. It's a defining moment for him.
It showcases Harry's ingenuity using gillyweed, thanks to Dobby, not Hermione this time, and his bravery under extreme pressure. He's forced to adapt and use his wits in an environment completely alien to him, proving his true heroism lies often in his selflessness, even if it costs him points.
Absolutely. And the task itself, it mirrors some of those 1990s adventure films we saw in the U.S.
Yeah.
The high-stakes rescues and dramatic underwater sequences that were common in blockbusters then. The idea of a race against time to save someone was a really popular trope. Think of films like Twister from '96, where characters faced overwhelming natural forces or the constant pressure of the clock.
Right, or disaster movies.
Exactly. Or even Titanic from '97, which featured thrilling, time-sensitive rescue missions and terrifying underwater perils. It captures that same kind of intense, desperate struggle against an unforgiving alien environment where time is running out.
And Rowling's thrilling prose here doesn't just describe the underwater world, it completely immerses you through these vivid sensory details. The murky green light, the tangled weed-choked bottom, the feeling of intense cold and pressure, the eerie merpeople song.
Yeah, you feel the cold.
You do. Her intense narration plunges listeners into the depths of the Black Lake, making you feel the chilling cold and the immediate peril right alongside Harry, worried he won't make it back up.
It's very effective. And it makes you consider the true measure of loyalty and friendship, doesn't it? It pushes us to ask, what sacrifices are we willing to make for the people we care about? And how do those choices, especially the ones made under extreme pressure and against the rules, ultimately define us?
The second task is so unique and so genuinely nerve-wracking. It's a completely different kind of challenge from the dragon, testing different skills, but it's just as intense, maybe even more psychologically.
It really cements the idea that Harry's heart is always in the right place, even when he's terrified or thinks he's failed. His compassion often leads his bravery, sometimes to his detriment in the competition, but not morally.
So true. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, after the stresses of the second task, a much-needed glimmer of hope, although mixed with inherent danger, appears in Chapter 27, Padfoot Returns. A familiar, beloved figure, Sirius Black, aka Padfoot, emerges from the shadows, meeting Harry, Ron, and Hermione near Hogsmeade. It brings both hope and immediate risk to Harry and his friends.
Yeah, it's a risky move for Sirius. Rowling crafts this emotional reunion, but it's also richly laced with profound secrets and crucial information for Harry's understanding of the larger plot unfolding, particularly about Barty Crouch Sr. and Jr. It pulls listeners into this complex web of loyalty, risk, and shared burdens. It highlights the importance of the few true allies Harry has in this increasingly dangerous world, people who truly believe him and understand the stakes.
And this chapter explores themes of trust, doesn't it? Particularly trust in fans like Sirius who have been misunderstood or unjustly accused. It also hints at the possibility of redemption, or at least finding purpose, for those who have suffered deeply. It highlights how past allies and figures from Harry's history are resurfacing, bringing vital information and much-needed emotional support, but also, because Sirius is a wanted fugitive, an increased level of danger and complication to Harry's already incredibly complex life.
Definitely adds another layer of secrecy. And the reunion, Sirius's return from hiding to help, it reflects some of those 1990s themes of reconciliation and second chances that were present in U.S. culture. Societies were grappling with past injustices and seeking ways to move forward. The idea of someone returning from the shadows, maybe wrongly accused, to clear their name or help a cause was a powerful narrative.
Right.
This era saw growing discussions around issues like criminal justice reform or efforts to address historical wrongs against marginalized communities. It reflected a desire to re-examine past judgments and perhaps offer opportunities for reintegration or redemption, which Sirius desperately needs.
That's a thoughtful connection.
Hmm.
And Rowling's heartfelt scenes between Harry and Sirius are poignant because they focus on the emotional subtext that unspoken bond between them. Harry's longing for family, Sirius's fierce protectiveness. Her emotive narration uses Harry's internal relief and Sirius's quiet determination, even living off rats, to truly tug at listeners' hearts.
It really does.
It demonstrates her ability to craft these poignant character moments that are deeply rooted in the broader narrative and the characters' histories, making reunions like this incredibly impactful and meaningful.
So true. And it makes you consider the power of rekindled connections, especially family, chosen or otherwise, and the difficult decisions individuals like Sirius make when faced with complex loyalties, loyalty to safety versus loyalty to Harry. It prompts us to ask, how do we rebuild trust after betrayal or long misunderstanding? And what does it truly take to give someone a second chance, especially when their past is shrouded in darkness and danger?
Sirius's return always feels like such a breath of fresh air, doesn't it? Even with the constant danger he brings just by being near Harry, there's a sense of comfort and a powerful grounding bond there for Harry.
A truly crucial moment. It offers Harry both much-needed emotional comfort and vital strategic information that will be key to understanding the larger mysteries surrounding the tournament and Crouch.
Absolutely. Remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates as we continue our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, the threads of deception and long-held secrets begin to unravel in a truly devastating way in Chapter 28, The Madness of Mr. Crouch. We witness this shocking breakdown by Barty Crouch Sr. when he appears on the edge of the Forbidden Forest, rambling incoherently. It dramatically unravels dark and unsettling truths that have been hidden for decades.
Yeah, it's a disturbing scene. Rowling weaves this tapestry of mystery and absolute desperation as Crouch's meticulously controlled mind tragically unravels right before Harry and Crumb. He's trying to warn Dumbledore, exposing his long-held secrets in fragments. It's a moment where the wizarding world's supposed stability truly begins to fray at the edges. It reveals deeper cracks and corruption within the system, within the ministry, than anyone really imagined, showing that danger can come from the most respected places.
And this chapter profoundly explores themes of betrayal, hidden agendas, and the corrosive effect of secrets on individuals and institutions. Crouch's unraveling is this brutal revelation of a long-held, terrible deception involving his own son. And it significantly deepens the tournament's stakes. It shows that the danger Harry faces isn't just external from Voldemort. It originates from within respected figures and institutions, making it far more insidious and challenging to identify and fight. Who can you trust?
Exactly. And Crouch's unraveling, his fall from grace, it mirrors some of those 1990s fears in the U.S. about institutional collapse, maybe, and the personal crises that can stem from suppressed secrets or extreme pressures within public life. This was a period where public figures' private lives or hidden actions could lead to dramatic, very public downfalls.
Right.
Think of high-profile political scandals or corporate fraud cases in the 90s. Meticulously constructed facades of powerful individuals crumbled under the weight of their own deceptions, exposing deep-seated issues and often leading to widespread public disillusionment with the institutions they represented. Crouch embodies that perfectly.
He does. And Rowling's intense narrative of Crouch's breakdown isn't just about dramatic plot. It's a study in psychological horror, really. Her gripping delivery uses fragmented sentences, his desperate pleas, and a focus on Crouch's erratic behavior to keep listeners riveted to his heartbreaking, terrifying descent into madness before he disappears.
Yeah, it's haunting.
It showcases her mastery of psychological suspense, depicting a character's mental deterioration in a way that is both terrifying and deeply revealing about the devastating cost of maintaining secrets and prioritizing reputation over truth or family.
It really does, and it raises an important question. What are the true costs of maintaining secrets, both for the individuals involved and for the systems they are part of? How does prolonged pressure, especially from hiding dark, painful truths, ultimately lead to breakdown and expose deeper corruption? And how do we deal with those shocking revelations when they finally surface?
Mr. Crouch's unraveling is just heartbreaking, isn't it? And so telling about the extreme lengths people will go to preserve a facade, a reputation, even if it completely destroys them in the end.
It's a very dark turning point in the book. It reveals just how deeply corruption and secrets can embed themselves within even the most respected individuals and institutions, poisoning everything.
Indeed. If you're gaining valuable insights from this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, following the raw, disturbing revelations surrounding Mr. Crouch, Chapter 29, The Dream, shifts the focus back to a more personal, deeply unsettling form of prophecy for Harry. These haunting visions, these dreams, plague Harry again, blurring the lines between reality and premonition. He sees Voldemort, Wormtail, planning something. It leaves him deeply disturbed and confused.
Yet Rowling crafts this chilling glimpse into a dark and dangerous future through these dreams. She uses vivid, fragmented imagery, Voldemort looking less than Ghost, Wormtail being punished, and this haunting narration to leave listeners profoundly uneasy. The impending danger looms ever closer, making it clear that these aren't just random nightmares. They feel like powerful premonitions of something truly terrible and seemingly unavoidable.
This chapter really delves into themes of fate, destiny, and the mysterious power of intuition, or perhaps that unwanted connection Harry has through his scar. It suggests that Harry is being drawn towards a preordained, inescapable confrontation. It highlights the heavy burden of his unique, painful connection to Voldemort. Harry's dreams serve as powerful foreshadowing here, building an increasing sense of dread. They confirm that the threat of Voldemort isn't just theoretical or historical, it's very real, active, and chillingly imminent. It feels like Voldemort is almost knocking on his door, signaling a confrontation is very, very near.
It's incredibly tense, and the prophetic dreams, they echo that 1990s fascination we saw in the U.S. with mysticism and the supernatural, as well as the popular concept of premonitions or psychic abilities in popular culture. Think of the huge popularity of TV shows like The X-Files, which often dealt with premonitions and unexplained phenomena, or films that explored psychic abilities.
Yeah, that was everywhere.
It tapped into this cultural curiosity about whether some warnings or insights come from sources beyond our conscious understanding, hinting at unseen forces guiding events, for good or ill. Harry's dreams fit right into that cultural interest.
And Rowling's eerie prose isn't just descriptive, it's psychologically unsettling. She uses these abstract, disturbing images, Voldemort's weakened state, the snake Nagini, and this sense of pervasive dread to create a haunting narration that sends shivers down listeners' spines.
It really does.
It demonstrates her ability to create a pervasive sense of unease through subtle psychological means, often blending the fantastic with the terrifying to great effect. It makes the unseen, the partially glimpsed, feel palpably dangerous.
So true, and it makes you wonder about the power of our subconscious minds, doesn't it? And whether some warnings do come in forms we don't immediately recognize. It prompts us to consider, how much should we trust our gut feelings, our intuitions, especially when they seem to predict danger? And how do we discern between genuine intuition and mere anxiety in moments of high stress and uncertainty?
Those dreams are so unsettling, aren't they? But they're also crucial pieces of the puzzle, forcing Harry and Dumbledore to confront truths they might rather avoid or can't yet fully grasp.
Indeed. They are guiding Harry towards the truth, however painful or fragmented it may be, and providing these cryptic clues to the larger mystery that Dumbledore needs to solve.
You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, so to finally understand those haunting dreams and the madness of Barty Crouch, Chapter 30 introduces one of the most brilliant magical devices in the series, the Pensieve. This magical artifact, Dumbledore's stone basin, unveils hidden memories. It literally pulls Harry into this swirling vortex of past secrets, allowing him to witness history firsthand.
It's such a cool concept. Rowling crafts this mesmerizing dive into history, immersing listeners in pivotal moments from Dumbledore's past specifically, the trials of Death Eaters like Karkaroff and Ludo Bagman, and crucially, Barty Crouch Jr. It's an ingenious narrative device for revealing the wizarding world's hidden shadows and untold stories. It brings complex exposition and backstory to vivid life without feeling like a dry lecture or an info dump. You experience it with Harry.
Absolutely. And this chapter profoundly explores themes of truth, justice, and the sheer weight of history. It shows how revisiting the past, even traumatic parts of it, can illuminate present circumstances and expose long-buried injustices or mistakes that have ripple effects into the present. It emphasizes the critical impact of past events and decisions on the present. It demonstrates that history isn't static. It continuously influences current reality, demanding to be understood and confronted, even when it's painful.
So true. And the Pensieve, as a tool for reviewing past events for truth, it reflects that 1990s interest we saw growing in the U.S. in historical reckoning and maybe even the idea of truth commissions. Societies were grappling with past conflicts and seeking ways to understand and reconcile with their histories. The era saw an increasing number of documentaries, investigative journalism projects, and academic pursuits aimed at uncovering historical truths.
Like looking back at Vietnam or deeper into civil rights history.
Exactly. Things concerning civil rights, wars, political scandals. This underscored a societal belief that understanding the past, getting the facts straight, is crucial for making sense of and moving forward in the present. The pensive is like the ultimate historical record.
It really is. And Rowling's vivid storytelling here isn't just about the content of the memories, it's about the feeling of experiencing them alongside Harry. Her immersive narration describes the sensation of falling into the liquid thoughts, the feeling of being an invisible observer, transporting listeners directly into these intense courtroom memories. This highlights her ingenious narrative device for providing backstory and exposition in a dynamic, engaging way, rather than through simple, potentially boring narration. It's a masterclass in showing, not just telling history.
It absolutely is, and it raises an important question. How much can understanding the past truly illuminate our present and prepare us for the future? How do we confront uncomfortable historical truths, both personally and societally, when they are revealed? And what responsibility do we have to learn from them to avoid repeating the same mistakes?
The pensive is such a brilliant concept, isn't it? It's like stepping into a living memory, reliving history exactly as it happened. So much potential for understanding and for danger, maybe.
It's vital for Harry at this point. It connects the fragmented pieces of Voldemort's dark past, the actions of his followers, to his own dangerous present. It prepares him somewhat for what's to come by revealing the depths of deception involved.
Definitely. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, all of Harry's training, all the revealed secrets, the dreams, the pensive memories, it all converges on Chapter 31, the third task. The tournament's final challenge looms. A deadly maze constructed on the Quidditch pitch, filled with horrors, magical obstacles, and unpredictable traps. It promises a truly harrowing experience for the champions.
Yeah, the atmosphere is thick with tension. Rowling delivers heart-pounding action right from the start, forcing Harry, and the other champions, though we mostly follow Harry, to face trials that test every ounce of his courage, his magical skill, and his ingenuity. It truly becomes this crucible for heroism, pushing Harry to his absolute physical and mental limits, far beyond what any reasonable school competition should ever entail. The danger feels immense.
This chapter profoundly emphasizes Harry's remarkable resilience, doesn't it? His ability to persevere despite immense fear facing blast-ended Scroots, a Sphinx, Acromantula.
Oh, spiders.
Right. And it introduces the powerful theme of potential sacrifice required in the face of true heroism, especially in his interactions with Cedric. The maze itself is this potent symbol of uncertainty. It represents not just external dangers, but also the inner struggle, the fear one must overcome to reach a goal, especially when the path forward is never clear and danger lurks around every single corner.
It's a great metaphor. And the maze, with its twists, turns, and hidden perils, it mirrors some of those 1990s adventure and survival games that were popular in the U.S. They involved high-stakes drama where players had to navigate complex environments, overcome obstacles, and make critical decisions under pressure. Think of popular video games like Tomb Raider, which debuted in '96.
Oh yeah, classic.
Right. It involved navigating intricate, dangerous environments, solving puzzles on the fly, or even the enduring appeal of physical challenge shows that mimics survival scenarios. They all required strategic thinking and resilience in uncertain terrain, just like the maze demands of Harry.
And Rowling's thrilling scenes are paced so well. She uses short, sharp sentences that mimic Harry's quick decision-making under pressure when facing a threat. Her electrifying narration keeps listeners on the absolute edge with every turn of the maze, using vivid descriptions of the shifted hedges, the spells flying, the hidden creatures. It showcases her ability to build intense suspense and action within this contained, claustrophobic environment, making every single turn a potential threat and keeping the reader constantly guessing what horror comes next.
It's really effective. And it makes you consider how we confront the unknown. Right?
Yeah.
How do we overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles in our own lives? It prompts us to ask, what happens when our path forward is unclear and danger lurks at every turn, both literally and figuratively? And how do we find the courage, the strategy, the resilience to navigate that uncertainty?
The maze is terrifying precisely because you never know what's coming next. And that sense of isolation, even when Cedric is nearby, feels so profound. The pressure is immense.
It is. And it's a fitting, agonizing prelude to the true terror that awaits Harry at the center, the ultimate confrontation he's been unknowingly walking towards the entire school year. The prize is a trap.
Exactly. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, deep breaths, everyone. The true horror of Goblet of Fire culminates right here in Chapter 32. Flesh, blood, and bone. It's a chilling, absolutely nightmarish ritual that unfolds in this place of death, the little Hangleton graveyard where it all began. This chapter forever changes the series. There's no going back after this.
No, there isn't. Rowling crafts this scene of profound betrayal, Wormtail's actions, and horrifying dark power. She plunges listeners directly into the heart of darkness. This is the pivotal and arguably the most horrifying moment of the entire book. The undisputed moment Voldemort fully returns to physical form, reborn through dark magic, and more dangerous than ever before.
This chapter focuses intensely on the horrifying themes of true evil and this dark, twisted rebirth. It is the undeniable moment Voldemort fully returns, signaling a new, terrifying era of open war for the wizarding world. It marks the end of any remaining innocence.
Absolutely.
The brutal, senseless death of Cedric Diggory killed the spare, and the devastating revelation of Wormtail's full, cowardly betrayal underscore the brutal reality of the dark forces Harry is truly up against. Innocence is shattered, and the stakes become undeniably mortal and incredibly devastatingly personal for Harry.
It's brutal. And the ritual itself, Voldemort's reemergence from weakness, it reflects some of those 1990s fears in the U.S. about resurgent threats, particularly after the relative calm of the Cold War's end. The idea that seemingly defeated forces or ideologies could reemerge in terrifying, unexpected ways was a real anxiety. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the focus shifted to more elusive, perhaps decentralized threats, creating the significant societal anxiety about hidden, powerful enemies.
Right, the enemy you don't see coming.
Exactly. Events like the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, or the growing awareness of figures like Osama bin Laden and the threat of global terrorism, contributed to this sense of a dangerous force re-emerging unexpectedly on the global stage, mirroring Voldemort's sudden, horrifying return to full power.
And Rowling's harrowing prose here is completely unflinching. She doesn't shy away from the graphic details of the ritual or the emotional devastation of Cedric's death. She uses stark language, kill the spare, and focuses on Harry's internal terror and helplessness to create this chilling narration that truly grips listeners throughout this traumatic, pivotal chapter.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
It demonstrates her unflinching willingness to depict truly dark and emotionally devastating moments, cementing the seriousness and the absolute mortal stakes of the conflict that Harry is now undeniably, terrifyingly a part of.
It's so true, and it raises a critical, terrifying question. What happens when the very thing you feared most, the ultimate evil, becomes a horrifying, undeniable reality right in front of you? How do we find the strength to confront overwhelming evil, especially when it manifests in its most raw and terrifying form? And how do we cope with such profound, shattering loss and trauma?
This chapter, it's where everything just shatters. The true, undeniable return of Lord Voldemort to full strength. It's almost too much to bear, even on rereads.
It is a moment that completely redefines the entire series. It fundamentally shifts the narrative tone and irrevocably seals Harry's destiny. He's no longer just a student. He's a soldier in a war facing his ultimate enemy.
Absolutely. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, fresh from Voldemort's horrifying rebirth, Chapter 33, The Death Eaters, immediately reveals the chilling scope of his newly reclaimed power and influence. A terrifying gathering takes place right there in the graveyard, revealing the true breadth of his loyal followers, summoned by the dark mark on Wormtail's arm.
Yeah, it's a roll call of pure evil. Rowling paints this vivid, menacing picture of loyalty born of fear and also twisted ideology among his followers. We see familiar names: Malfoy, Crabbe, Goyle. Dark forces rally with terrifying and malevolent intent, fully exposing the enemy's formidable strength and organization. It's a truly chilling display of power, showing just how deeply rooted evil runs within the wizarding world's establishment.
And this chapter delves into the complex, disturbing dynamics of power and allegiance, doesn't it? It explores why individuals choose to follow a dark leader like Voldemort. Is it out of sheer fear, naked ambition, or a twisted sense of true belief in his pure-blood ideology? Probably all the above for different people.
A mix.
It unmistakably reveals the enemy's formidable strength and the depth of their organization. It underscores the enormous, almost impossible challenge Harry and the Light Side now face. The war is truly upon them, and the enemy is organized, powerful, and embedded in society.
It's a sobering reality check. And the Death Eaters, as this fanatical, hierarchical group bound by a dark ideology, They echo some of those 1990s fears in the U.S. about extremist groups and societal division, where fanaticism and blind loyalty could lead to widespread harm. Concerns about cults, militia movements, or extremist factions gaining influence, and the potential for domestic terror were very present then.
Right.
The aftermath of events like the Oklahoma City bombing in '95 really highlighted how deeply rooted extremist ideologies could be, and the destructive potential of such groups within a society. It led to public concern about societal polarization and hidden threats, much like the Death Eaters represent.
And Rowling's intense narrative of this dark gathering uses specific character reactions. You see the cowering from some, the eager anticipation from others, like Bellatrix, though she's not named yet, to create this menacing delivery that truly terrifies listeners.
It's palpable.
It showcases her ability to create a palpable sense of threat from a collective group. Their combined presence and shared malevolence feels far more intimidating and dangerous than any single villain could be alone. It's the power of the mob, the organization.
So true. And it makes you wonder about the nature of evil and the terrifying allure of power, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It prompts us to ask, what motivates people to align themselves with darkness, with ideologies of hate? And what are the signs of such growing influence within a society or community that we should be vigilant about before it's too late to stop it?
Seeing the Death Eaters gather like that, seeing their chilling loyalty or maybe just fear towards Voldemort, it's truly unsettling, isn't it? It makes the threat feel so real and widespread.
It makes the threat concrete and terrifyingly organized.
Mm-hmm.
And the fight ahead for Harry and Dumbledore seems almost impossible against such numbers and embedded power.
Yeah.
And a very sobering realization for Harry trapped there.
Completely. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Okay, but in the face of that overwhelming evil, that seemingly impossible fight, Chapter 34, Priori Incantatem, delivers one of the most iconic, unexpected, and emotionally powerful moments in the entire Harry Potter series. A direct clash of magic, a duel between Harry and the newly reborn Voldemort sparks this extraordinary, extremely rare magical phenomenon. Priori Incantatem, the reverse spell effect between brother wands.
It's stunning. Rowling weaves this breathtaking moment of hope, connection, and profound symbolism right into the heart of this deadly duel. Harry fights against truly overwhelming odds, vastly outmatched in power and experience, but finds unexpected strength and aid from this unique, magical phenomenon. He draws on a legacy far greater than himself, receiving help quite literally from beyond the grave. This chapter powerfully explores themes of legacy, resistance, and the magical connection that literally binds Harry to his past, to his parents, and to Voldemort's other victims. It's not just a magical duel, it's a deeply symbolic battle for the future, rooted firmly in the past, as the spectral echoes of Voldemort's victims emerge one by one from his wand: Cedric, Frank Bryce, Bertha Jorkins, his own parents.
Chilling?
It brilliantly demonstrates how magic in Rowling's world can transcend time, allowing the past to literally aid the present. It provides Harry with crucial ghostly support and encouragement from those he's lost, a truly unique and moving form of assistance in his moment of greatest peril.
It's beautiful and heartbreaking. And the magical clash, this epic duel, it reflects that 1990s fascination we had in the U.S. with epic battles and heroism in our fiction and films, where protagonists faced monumental challenges, seemingly insurmountable odds, and often received aid from unexpected, sometimes even mystical sources to prevail.
Right, like the Force in Star Wars, maybe.
Exactly. Or think of blockbuster films like Independence Day from '96, or maybe Armageddon from '98. They depicted these grand-scale struggles where a small group of heroes fought against overwhelming odds, often tapping into unseen forces or drawing strength from a collective spirit, from love or memory, to achieve the impossible. This scene captures that profound sense of fighting for something larger than oneself, powered by connection.
And Rowling's emotional prose here isn't just descriptive of the magic, it's deeply moving. She focuses on Harry's raw emotional fortitude, his determination fueled by the ghostly figures emerging, creating this powerful narration that absolutely inspires listeners, giving them hope right alongside Harry.
Yeah.
This highlights her capacity for truly grand, symbolic, magical moments that are not just action-packed, but incredibly emotionally resonant and deeply meaningful to the overarching narrative and Harry's personal journey. It's unforgettable.
It really is. And it raises an important question. What unseen forces or legacies support us when we face our greatest challenges? How does the past, our memories, our connections to those we've lost, continue to influence our present battles? And how can we draw strength and inspiration from those who came before us, even if they are no longer physically present?
Priori Incantatem. It's just one of the most iconic moments in the entire series. So much powerful magic, so much raw emotion, and such a profound symbol of connection and resistance against evil.
A truly pivotal moment, absolutely. It offers Harry that crucial glimmer of hope amidst the utter darkness of the graveyard, and a key piece of understanding about wand lore, about connection for the long war ahead.
Definitely. Don't miss out on any more updates. Like, subscribe, and share this Goblet of Fire deep dive. Okay, Harry manages to escape the graveyard, clutching Cedric's body, and return to Hogwarts via the Portkey Cup. But the revelations, the shocks, they aren't over yet. Chapter 35, Veritaserum, brings another horrifying truth to light back at the castle. Truth spills out, compelled under the powerful spell of Veritaserum, unraveling shocking secrets that were meticulously hidden for the entire school year, right under everyone's noses, including Dumbledore's.
Yeah, the reveal of Barty Crouch Jr. impersonating Mad-Eye Moody is a huge twist. Rowling crafts this gripping interrogation scene, revealing long-held mysteries and tying together so many loose ends surrounding the tournament, how Harry's name got in, how obstacles were overcome. The tournament's intricate web of deceit finally comes completely to light, exposing the true mastermind behind Harry's forced entry and Voldemort's return plan. It's a shocking twist that was hidden in plain sight all along.
And this chapter heavily emphasizes the themes of truth, deception, and the extraordinary lengths people like Crouch Jr. will go to hide their motives and actions fueled by fanaticism. It's about the raw, undeniable force of compelled honesty when a truth serum is involved, and the destructive power of suppressed information when it's finally revealed. It reveals the immense cost of hidden motives and the devastating consequences when deceptions are finally exposed. It impacts multiple characters and the broader wizarding community with its uncomfortable, terrifying truths about vulnerability and infiltration.
It really does. And the use of Veritaserum, the truth serum, and the forced confession, it mirrors some of that 1990s interest in the U.S. in methods of lie detection and achieving accountability, where advancements in forensic science or journalistic investigations or even controversial interrogation techniques aim to uncover hidden truths and hold individuals responsible.
Right, the search for definitive proof.
Exactly. Think of high-profile court cases, like the O.J. Simpson trial again, where forensic evidence, DNA analysis, and discussions around lie detection technologies were central to the public's attempt to understand truth and justice, even if it remained controversial. It highlights a societal thirst for concrete, undeniable answers, which Veritaserum seems to offer.
And Rowling's dramatic scenes here are built through that tension-filled dialogue between Dumbledore, Snape, McGonagall, and the revealed Crouch Jr. The slow, agonizing reveal of the truth is captivating. Her intense narration keeps listeners riveted to every word of Crouch Jr.'s confession, focusing on the weight and the audacity of his revelations.
Yeah.
This showcases her skill in handling complex exposition and major plot twists through compelling dialogue and dramatic revelation, rather than simple narration. It makes the uncovering of truth incredibly engaging and impactful, even though it's mostly just talking.
It's masterful, and it raises an important question. What role does truth play in achieving justice? And what are the consequences when truth is suppressed or manipulated for personal gain or for ideological reasons, both individuals and for society? How do we seek out uncomfortable truths when they are hidden? And how do we deal with their profound, often devastating impact when they finally come to light? Veritaserum, the ultimate truth serum. And it utterly unravels everything Dumbledore thought he knew about the year's events. It's a moment of terrible, shocking clarity.
It's a moment of clarity, indeed, but also one that leads to profound division as the truth forces the wizarding world, particularly the Ministry, to choose sides. Believe the unbelievable or deny it. You're listening to our Goblet of Fire deep dive. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. Okay, after the shocking revelations from Barty Crouch Jr. under Veritaserum and the horrifying events in the graveyard, Chapter 36, The Parting of the Ways, depicts the inevitable schism, the beginning of the open conflict. Hogwarts and the wider wizarding world face a fractured future as allies, particularly Dumbledore and Minister Fudge, clash over the difficult, terrifying truth that has been revealed.
Yeah, that confrontation is key. Rowling paints this tense showdown in the hospital wing, full of Dumbledore's certainty and Fudge's denial and fear. It shows individuals choosing sides in the face of an undeniable threat. Harry, recovering, is caught in the middle of this storm of conflicting opinions, as the wizarding world, represented by Fudge, refuses to accept the truth and braces itself for it. Well, Fudge hopes for nothing, while Dumbledore braces for war. The lines are drawn sharply.
This chapter profoundly explores themes of division, doesn't it? As the wizarding community, or at least its leadership, grapples with the terrifying return of Voldemort. It shows the emergence of clear lines between those who believe the truth Harry presents, supported by Dumbledore, and those who, out of fear, political expediency, or willful denial, refuse to accept it. It's also about individual resolve, Dumbledore's resolve, in the face of widespread skepticism and institutional denial. It explicitly sets the stage for the coming war, showing the immediate, dangerous aftermath of Voldemort's return and the difficult choices that must now be made by individuals and institutions. It transforms the wizarding world forever.
It really does. And this schism, this parting of the ways between Dumbledore and Fudge, it reflects some of that 1990s political polarization and maybe growing global tensions that were felt in the U.S., where clear ideological divides emerged, and societies often struggled to agree on fundamental truths or the very nature of the threats they faced.
Right, arguing over the facts themselves.
Right. Exactly. Debates over how to respond to growing global threats or the increasing partisan divide in U.S. politics during that era showcase how difficult it is for a society or its leaders to unite when faced with stark disagreements about reality itself. It often leads to deep societal rifts and inaction, which is exactly what Fudge represents here.
And Rowling's powerful narrative here isn't just about the plot developments, like Fudge ignoring the truth. It's about the emotional toll of such division. Her emotive delivery focuses on the characters' reactions, Dumbledore's quiet fury, Fudge's blustering denial, Harry's exhaustion and frustration, leaving listeners reflective, almost in mourning for the lost innocence and the squandered chance for unity.
Yeah, it's frustrating to read.
It showcases her ability to portray the immediate, complex aftermath of major events, illustrating how a single terrifying revelation can deeply splinter a community, especially when leadership fails.
So true. And it raises an important question. How do societies unite or divide when faced with undeniable threats that challenge their comfort, their beliefs, their status quo? What role do strong leadership, like Dumbledore's, and individual conviction play in times of profound crisis and uncertainty? And what are the lasting, potentially devastating consequences of choosing denial over truth?
This parting of the ways between Fudge and Dumbledore is so difficult to witness, isn't it? But it feels so realistic in its portrayal of human nature under pressure, especially political pressure. Denial is powerful.
It is. It's the beginning of the next much darker chapter, not just for Harry, but for the entire wizarding world. The war has truly begun, and the Ministry is already on the wrong side.
Sadly, yes. We're almost at the end of our Goblet of Fire deep dive, but there's one last crucial chapter that looks forward, offering a different kind of beginning. Please like, subscribe, and share to support our work. And so, we arrive at the final chapter, chapter 37, fittingly titled, The Beginning. Despite the darkness, the title offers a sliver of hope. Hogwarts mourns its profound losses, particularly the shocking death of Cedric Diggory, but it also begins to prepare, under Dumbledore's guidance, for an uncertain future. A future irrevocably changed by Voldemort's return and the Ministry's denial.
Harry stands at this poignant crossroads. He's endured immense trauma, faced death, but also experienced incredible growth throughout the year. He's no longer the boy who arrived on the Hogwarts Express. Rowling crafts this powerful farewell to the school year, blending grief. Dumbledore's eulogy for Cedric is heartbreaking, with a glimmer of hope found in friendship and alliances and the undeniable promise of battles to come. It leaves us with a sense of both emotional closure for this chapter and fervent anticipation for what's next.
This chapter profoundly emphasizes themes of resilience, doesn't it? Both individual resilience, Harry's quiet determination, and communal resilience, seen in the bonds between Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and Dumbledore's efforts to rebuild the Order. And it stresses the crucial importance of unity, of sticking together in the face of overwhelming adversity and official denial. Despite the profound grief and loss, there is a clear message of continuing the fight, of picking oneself up and preparing for what's ahead.
Right.
It perfectly sets the stage for the saga's next chapter, Order of the Phoenix. It marks the definitive end of innocence for Harry and his friends, and the true beginning of Harry's conscious war against Voldemort, a war he now fully understands and must actively participate in.
Well said. And the ending, it reflects a fascinating blend of that 1990s optimism tempered by looming global challenges that was felt in the U.S. as the millennium approached. While there was excitement for a new era, think Y2K optimism, the internet boom, there are also these growing anxieties about environmental issues, global security, economic stability that would shape the new century.
And a mix of hope and worry.
Exactly. The chapter captures this sense of stepping into a new era with hope, grounded in friendship and core values, but with a full awareness that significant, dangerous struggles lay ahead. It requires continued vigilance and collective effort, much like the turn of the millennium felt for many Americans, potential mixed with peril.
And Rowling's heartfelt prose in this final chapter isn't just sentimental, it's deeply moving and ultimately inspiring, despite the somber tone of Mourning Cedric. She focuses on the quiet resolve of the characters, the subtle signs of solidarity, like Mrs. Weasley's hug or Sirius's promise. Her moving narration leaves listeners with a sense of hopeful determination, even facing such darkness.
Yeah, you feel ready for the next book.
It demonstrates her mastery of crafting a conclusion that is satisfying for this book, yet perfectly open-ended. It provides emotional closure for the events of Goblet of Fire, while expertly fueling anticipation for the monumental challenges that clearly lie ahead in the rest of the series.
So true. And it leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? Even in the darkest of times and after profound loss, the act of beginning again, of choosing resilience, unity, and love holds immense power. What new beginnings are we called to embrace after facing our own challenges? And how do we carry forward what we've learned, shaping our future with the hard-won lessons of the past? #tag outro.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Wow, what an intense, pivotal journey that was.
It truly is a transformative moment in the series, isn't it? Shifting irrevocably from a mostly adventurous, if sometimes dangerous tone, to one of serious life-or-death conflict. The seeds planted way back in Chapter 1 truly blossom, or rather explode here. It showcases the intricate planning of Rowling's narrative and her ambitious vision for the story.
Absolutely. From the chilling return of Voldemort to the complexities of media manipulation, the fragility of institutional trust, teenage angst, the ethics of magic. This book is so much more than just a children's story. It's a masterclass in weaving profound, real-world themes into an unforgettable fantasy narrative that resonates deeply with our own experiences, even decades later.
Well said. This deep dive truly reveals how meticulously Rowling builds her world and her characters, preparing them and us for the epic fight to come, and how she constantly reflects back the anxieties, hopes, and ideas from our own world, making the fantasy feel incredibly grounded and relevant.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? Hopefully it means the knowledge you've gained today isn't just about spells and dragons and tournaments. It's about understanding the nuances of fear, the unbreakable bonds of loyalty, the difficult pursuit of justice, and the immense courage it takes to stand up for what's right, even and especially when the world seems fractured and uncertain.
Exactly. It's a testament to the enduring power of stories like this to not only entertain us, but to inform, to challenge, and maybe provide those aha moments that deepen our understanding of ourselves and the complex world around us.
We really hope you've enjoyed unpacking this incredible, dense book with us.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep delving into the stories that shape our world.